How's it going? This is Jacob at KnightRiderShop.com. In this video I'm going to be talking about what was the original car in Knight Rider and what you need for an exterior kit car to be an authentic kit car. Okay, so we're going to start off, I'm going to start off and say that any 1982 through 1992 Firebird or Trans Am can be converted into a Knight Rider replica car. And as you see here, you can see that's the original steel from the Knight Rider show, and you can see what separates that from a regular Firebird, and it's the front bumper and the scanning red light, as you can see right here. And if you get a 1982 Firebird or Trans Am, you can see that the exterior is pretty much all ready to go, other than the bumper, front bumper. Um, And I think that's why most of you guys will shoot for an 82 Firebird over the newer ones. But if you're looking for a car that you just want to drive and you're not going to restore it, I would shy away from the 82s because they're quite old. I would get like an 88, 89, 90 maybe, because the motors were a little nicer. They had the TPIs in them and they're a little more reliable. Now, it doesn't really matter if you have a V6 or a V8. It's still kit from that exterior wise, so we're not going to cover that in this video. I'm just going to cover what will it take to turn your Trans Am or Firebird into a Knight Rider car. Okay, let's pretend you don't have a 1982 like we have in this picture here, because if you did have an 82, all you would have to do is put the rear blackout on and a front bumper and you'd be ready to go. Let's pretend you have an 85 through 90 Firebird or Trans Am, and this is how it would look. And you can see right away that you have a ground effects that goes all the way around the car. Now that wasn't in the show, so what you would have to do is you'd have to replace the front bumper and the rear bumper and remove all the ground effects and weld up all the holes around that the ground effects left behind once you remove them. Not the hardest thing in the world to do, but you do have to replace the rear bumper. Again, it's not too bad. I've done it before. I used to have an 86 Firebird and that's what I had to do myself. Or you could also find a formula. They made these, I think 87 was the first year, I believe, all the way up to I think 92. And the formulas that had pretty much the body of the Knight Rider. Same thing. All you need is a front bumper, but this one you have to get a rear bumper as well, and you have to replace the fenders if you want the air extractor like it had in the shows. But other than that, it's pretty much a Knight Rider car. Only other difference is on the formula, it's more of a base model, but usually you get a nicer motor under the hood. And they do have the bulge hood on those formulas as well. As you can see, the hood on top, this Trans Am, the 85 through 90, it's got the wrong hood. You need the bulge hood, and that's the wrong one for the show. Okay, then you see here, we got a still picture of the Knight Rider car from the exact show, season 1, and you can see throughout all the seasons it had the same rims, turbo cast rims, 15-inch, and the hubcaps. These things are getting quite hard to find, so that'd be one of the things you want to try to get a hold of if you could, because they're selling on eBay for over $1,000 for a set. Hubcaps themselves are pretty pricey as well. They did fly off a lot, so that they're kind of hard to find because of that, but there is reproduction fiberglass ones you can buy as well. And there it is with the tire. The original tire, just in case you want to know, was an Eagle GT Goodyear brand. And they do have reproduction ones, tires in that, but they're kind of pricey. And fenders, you want the right fenders. This is the right fender here, even though this is not an 82. They don't make reproduction 82s anymore. They only make 85 and up. But all you have to do is weld in the little holes here on the fenders, and then it'll be just as good for your car, for your Knight Rider. Because if you buy this style, or if you have a formula, a newer one, you're not going to have the air extractor here. And if you want it to be like the show, you're going to want the air extractor. Okay, bring you over to this picture here, and you can see I labeled everything for you. You need a blackout, which is a acrylic blackout pretty much. You need the rear spoiler, the correct one, which is just the straight one. And you can see I wrote down here no defroster lines, because the one in the show they had a clear glass in the back. You don't have to have, if you have defroster lines it's okay, but I just wanted to note that it didn't have defroster lines in the show. It also had stock pipes, which is just regular GM um, exhaust pipes that were on it, nothing with a chrome tip or anything fancy. And it had a night license plate, which you can order. I actually sell those on my website, and they're exactly as you see here. And I also saw the frame that you see in the show in this picture as well. And of course the black paint job, you need that. And you can see again on the 82 you're all set there. You don't really need to do anything other than the paint. You'd have to paint the gold and the rear blackout and your license plate. Also in the show it did have a flipping license plate from time to time. Those can be bought. I actually sell them on my website as well. And here, if you have 85 and up, you're probably going to have an arrow wing spoiler. You're going to have to remove that if you want it to be like KITT. And you're going to have some holes to weld up. And the Knight Rider didn't have the light up here either on the window, so you might want to exchange it for one from a junkyard or something, one without that light there. And if you have the light here, like my Formula had, you're going to have to weld up holes where that light goes if you remove it. And here's the bumpers. I made this so you guys can see it. From 85 to 90 it had ground effects, so you'd have to replace that if you're removing the ground effects. 87 through 90, the Firebirds had this little protector cover. It's like plastic. This is the wrong bumper. And 90 through 92, some of them had this style bumper, rear bumper, which is wrong as well. So you can see the 82 is right here, and this bumper was all through the year from 82 all the way up to 92, or 1990, where you could get this on different models of the Firebird. And here's a sketch I did showing you guys just what's the difference between the bumpers, because that's the one main thing that's different in the show. Season 1 had blackout covers with the turn signal showing here, and sometimes you see grills on these two different ones. Season 2 and 3 they got rid of the blackouts and they just had solid fiberglass, and I think that's because they had a lot of problems with this flexing in the wind. You can see a lot of the screenshots of the KITT car driving in the show, and you can actually see this thing warping from the sun or from the wind, air getting in there. And then you can see season 4 was a straighter bumper. It just was blocked out really thoroughly. I believe George Barris is the one who, to me it looks like a season 1 too that was just blocked out, extremely blocked out. So that's the differences on those 3 bumpers. I do sell the original 4 season on my website, and I do sell a 2-3 season and a season 1 now. And you can see that there's a shot of the season 1. You can see the turn signals going through the blackout, and there's the red scanning light. You can see season 2 there, style bumper. This part of the blackout was molded into the mold, so it still looked like there was a blackout, but it actually was fiberglass. But it had the same shape, this bumper, as the season 1, real curvy. And then in season 4, this is a shot with the convertible, but they also used it on the T-top, where it was a little more straighter version of the bumper. Some people like it, some people don't. It's just preference. So that's pretty much it. You need the rims, you need the hubcaps, you need the right fenders with the air extractors, the bulge hood, that's important, a rear bumper with no inserts. You do need the deflectors back here, which were in 82 and 83 cars. The front flares were not used in the show. You can see it's not used on this one. Only some reused footage of the tire turning was used with the flare in the front. And then the only other thing I could say is you'd want T-tops, but there was a few episodes where you could see they used a hard top with it looked like a body molding line to make it look like it was a T-top. So it's not the end of the world if you have a hard top. And anyways, if you think about it, the T-tops were made from the hard tops. So if you ever really wanted to change that out on your car, you could. But that's it for this one, guys. I just wanted to show you guys exactly what was in the show of Knight Rider, because I know a lot of people are not really sure what was in the show, and it's just the third gen Firebird. Really, that's all it was. And any 82 through 92 can be a Knight Rider car. It's just going to take a little more work if you have, you know, the newer style. Um, with the ground effects. A little more work to take the ground effects off, but it's not the end of the world. It's not too difficult to do. So don't be discouraged in your build. That's it for this one, guys. This is Jacob at KnightRiderShop.com. I'll catch you guys on the next one.